Hello guys again. So welcome back to the channel, and today we are going through the Uzima borehole drilling system. That is the chapter 3 of this. As you know, or we are in the month of March, and you are supposed to be right now in the chapter 3. That is the requirement specification. Remember, you are supposed to do the SDLC, or carry out the project in 7 chapters. So right now, being the third month, you're supposed to be in March, and meaning you're supposed to be in chapter 3. So I'm going to take you through this chapter briefly. So with me here is a sample of a requirement specification, but we can still use it for the system again. So requirement specification is typically where you specify the requirements of that system that you are developing. Yeah, that includes functional performance, interface, design requirements, development standards, and everything. So the system requirement specification document provides more details of the Uzima borehole drilling system requirements. It includes detailed information so that the system can be built to satisfy the requirements and also improve the quality. So before you develop your system, you have again to understand what will it require. Yeah. So in this case, that brings us to the scope. Yeah. In this case, if you want to develop for us the system that does this and that, maybe what will it require? So in this case, you have to again know what will be required for maybe the input, yeah, the output, and maybe the transaction process. Then with me here, I've skipped this part above here because one is not necessary for now. But as for you, you need this one, the system requirement specification. So let's jump into it. The system requirements or this stage is divided into two. We have the functional specification, not divided into two, but there are many major divisions. But we have first the functional specification that is divided into two. We have the functional and non-functional. So if we go to the functional requirements, there is a table here. If we consider the functional requirements, you start with the maybe operational specification. This one mainly means, or typically means, the operation of the system. Like for instance, here it's it has the 3 points. First one says system supports X number of users. So in this case, if you are developing a borehole drilling system, how many users or how many people can use that system at a stipulated time? Let's say now, how many people can use that system? A personal data is encrypted, meaning it can be saved that such that no one else can access it. So if I register myself, for instance, I'm using the registration. The data must be encrypted so that no one else accesses my information. Then system is scalable to accommodate a number of users. So in this case, if you are developing your database management system, how many clients can you register? You remember these two have a different supports X number of users and accommodate Y. Supports here in this case are the staff or the employees there at Uzima. Yeah, how many of them can use this? And again, Y number of users now refers to the clients or the customers. How many of them can it accommodate? Then we go to the second part, that is a subsystem specification. Again, this one still is about the development of the system. You have the screen reports, design specification, including the layouts. Yeah, so a simple example of this, if I want to carry out a registration, how will that screen look like? If I want to produce a report on the members that are registered, uh, how will that report look like? That include that layout, yeah, the format and everything else. So you have to be considerate of every thing that you are going to design. Then you have the interface specifications. This one, I think, basically it's like this one here. So you have to be careful when you are uh, designing your interfaces again, such that they are not too bright, and again they are not too tiresome to see. They don't have captions that are too big or again too small. You have to be careful about that. Then go to the third bit, that is system feature specification. For example, the components that you'll need when you are developing your system. A good example, let me quickly open that document. I see it's missing, but there was no problem. But I want just to show you, I wanted to show you something about the question that you had, but there's no problem. I can explain it. You are told that when a client registers, you're supposed to provide your name, your whatever, everything, those address, your contact, yeah, your mode or the survey options and the likes. So in this case, when it comes to components, you know that one will require a form to do that input. Then the next thing, you have error messages. This one simply means, for instance, if I'm supposed to provide my phone number, how will the system react if I input my email there instead of my phone number? So that's what we mean by error messages, such that it must again warn you when you enter the wrong data in the wrong fields. So you must get an error message from there. Then processing information, when that data is fed in the system, how will it be actually saved? Or if a member asks for the drilling services, yeah, how will the system handle that or process that? Then we have the response time. If, for instance, I asked for the let me just use the plumbing services, yeah, how fast will the system respond to me? And again, it is affected by the number of users here. Then you can go to the third bit, that is the exception handling, error responses or specifications. Then automatic response messages, when the user enters the wrong response. So this one you can basically use an example when you go to, or when you want plumbing services, but in return first, you do it in the or the surveys. Yeah, if you wanted maybe plumbing services, but in the system, when you are using it, you try to access that in another form, or maybe in the survey forms, yeah, or the tanks installations. So automatically there you must be given uh, an error message that you've entered the wrong data, because you are asking for plumbing, but you are going to try to input in the tanks installation. That again must show you an error. Then you have the fourth bit, that is the access control specifications. So a system must provide a detailed user transaction log. This one typically means a simple example. If that is on the server side, or those who are going to use the system, if they register you, how easily will they access my transaction? If I'm registered, then I ask for plumbing services, or maybe borehole drilling, or tanks installation. There must be a detailed user. My transaction log must be stored somewhere. Then we go to the fifth bit. That is the data backup. Again, you have to specify that your system, this is a computer system, and computers normally, although there are rare cases, there are times when fatal problems occur. Maybe there is a hard disk failure, computer crashing and the likes, or the computer gets worn out and it can't function. So as a part of the backup, if for instance you are using the system on a certain computer, but it came a time the computer crashed, maybe the hard disk failed and some other problems. So how have you planned yourself as a backup? You have again to specify. System conforms to company backup and restoration procedures. So this one, typically you can maybe decide to back up your system on a storage medium like a flash disk, or in these days we're in the digital era, you can use the Google Drive to back up your system, such that when the computer fails, you just restore your system from there, and you can continue transacting or carrying out the normal purposes of the system. Then you have the user interface specifications. Then here, as you can see, the system is built using Microsoft. This one, I think you don't have to consider it because this one is of higher knowledge. But for you, the second one here is very important. System allows graphical user interface customization. This one simply means when you develop the system, is it customizable by graphical user interface? You have again to specify the requirements for this. If you are doing it on an access form, or in this case, as we are going to use a Microsoft Access database to develop it. But you know very well that Microsoft Access supports this graphical user interface by maybe creating forms in design view and the likes. Then you can add your buttons, your items, and the likes, your fields, and also some other graphic objects. So you again have to specify if that system will allow customization. This one, because Access, again, if I develop the system, it can still be edited again or be customized again. That's what it typically means. Then you have the software interface specifications. The first one is not very much important, because for you are using Microsoft Access to develop it, so you don't require a web browser. Also this one to network, but this one it comes when you are maybe connecting to an external printer to maybe print the reports and the likes, so you can decide to use this. Also this one is not much important. Then we can move on to the next part. That is this one I'm skipping here, the types of specifications. So we have a specification. The first one, you have the intranet. Intranet, as you know, it is this one usually mean is an internet connectivity or a network that belongs to a private company or organization. So if you are developing that project in that company, you might require your own network so that you can carry out the transactions. That's what we mean by intranet. Then we have the system can generate a reports from a database. So again, you have to specify the requirements for this. can your system generate reports from a database? But in this case, Microsoft Access, you can generate a report from a database. Maybe you can generate a report from the tables or queries. Then system can provide an audit for transaction and account information. So if I want to view the previous transaction for the past 1 month or the past 1 year, for instance, let me consider a service like plumbing. If I want to view the plumbing services that are purchased by the members for the past 1 year, can my system keep track of that? So again, you have to specify that is a requirement. And that was the first part. So we are going to the second part, that is software specifications. Remember here, let me take you back. We have the functional. We have gone through the function, that is the functioning now of the system. Now we go to the software. There is a difference because now the software is what you'll need. Yeah, like in this case, we go to the first one, that is the server one. In this case, you have to specify. In this case, server does not typically means internet. Yeah, it can be from where you are hosting that file or the database system. You can see as here. I've talked about an internet website, but it's not much important because our system is a database created using Microsoft Access. So you don't require an internal website but if again you are connected to devices like printers, you might have to you might decide to have an internal website, but in this case you are not. You again have to specify that requirement for that internal or that storage that you are going to use. In this case, if you are developing the system using the computer or the system to be stored on the computer, how much storage you require to store those things like documents, the files, yeah, and everything else. So let me move to where you are supposed to. These ones are of higher knowledge. Then again, you have to specify the security and everything else. Maybe you can decide to maybe secure your database. Yeah, I think that is the major things that you require in this chapter. So be keen and continue. Yeah, those are the major things that you will require in this chapter. So be sure to include the two headings, the functional requirements, the non-functional. The functional, you have the software. After functional, you have to specify the software that will be required, the hardware. So software, in this case, you have to tell us if you'll consider buying computers, everything that you need, not computers. Computers fall to the hardware category. Software typically means the software that you use when you are developing your system, such that when those ones that are in Uzima, yeah, those that are in Uzima, if for instance they require Microsoft Office to run the application, you have to tell us. Here I think it's not included because this one was a web one. It was not using Access, but again, you must include what you used. If you used Access, you must tell them that they will require Microsoft Office to run that system, and again you can tell us even the cost of it. Then we go to the other bit, that is the other software component that you use, or another software application package that you used. If you used an antivirus, maybe you must also tell us which version and the cost. And again, if you use the internet, tell us the package or the software that you used, accompanied by its cost. Yeah, then after you are through with all the software requirements that you used, you will go to the hardware. The hardware here now is where I was saying, if you are using maybe computers, you have to specify which one did you use, if it's a Dell one, if it's a HP one, or whichever that you used. You have to specify again, and also indicate the cost, so that if they wish to buy the same, they will have an easy time when doing that. Then if they will require maybe printers, you have to tell them which ones would they buy, or which ones did you specify for them to buy. Yeah, if you require storage mediums, yeah, which ones did you, or which ones did you use, or which one do you recommend for them to use? Yeah, so you have to shortlist all the hardware components that you used for that development process. So after all that, I think you'll be through with this chapter 3. So you'll be through with this chapter. I don't think there is more for this level. You just need to specify everything, but mostly you have to consider the hardware and software requirements for the two, not for the two but for the system. Then you'll be set to move on to the next chapter, that is chapter 4. That is system design. We'll be covering a later video about it. So I hope you enjoyed this one. A new video is coming soon on chapter 4, that is the development process, about the system design, that is chapter 4. So we'll be covering that in another video, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching. I'm going to show you how you can simply get the project from my website. So just open your browser, whether it's Chrome or whichever. Then on the address bar over here, you type this address, .com, then you can hit enter. Then wait for the site to load. Then, because you are shopping for the project, so you just head over to the shopping tab. Just click on shopping tab. Then the shopping tab is displayed. You just navigate downwards. Then over here you can see the 3 projects available. So you have the first column here has the database. So if you wish to purchase the database, there is the button there and the cost. If you want the documentation, there is the button there and the cost, and also the whole system is the button there and the cost. So if for instance I wish to purchase the documentation, I just click on the buy now. then you'll be redirected to the WhatsApp so that you can purchase it. So if I click on OK, you can see it opens a new tab where you can now continue the chat. In this case, I won't continue because it's my WhatsApp. But for you, if you click on continue to chat, you'll be redirected and you'll be able to get the system. Yeah, that was a brief introduction, or I was going to show you how you can get the project. Yeah.